There'll always be something special about Mario Maker to me. It was a small phenomenon, selling over 4 million copies on the Wii U. That's almost a 30% attach rate. It's hardly a mystery why, though. They were giving you, yes you, full ability to make the course of your dreams and share it with the world. Or at least anyone who had a Wii U. Does that mean your course had to be good? No, but who cares? Experiment, receive feedback, and improve. So many people are playing this game, showing off their creativity, and with multiple updates, this game and Splatoon carried the Wii U for its last year or so. But at this point, I'm treading old ground. Chances are, you all know the story. What you might not know though was that a year or so after its release, Nintendo ported this game to the 3DS. And let me tell you, this port is such a weird case. So today, let me tell you about one of the most baffling ports Nintendo ever made. Without further ado, let's get started. Hey there, I'm Kardino, and let me tell you a story. It's 2016, and I'm watching the September Nintendo Direct. After being sold on Pokemon Sun and Moon, one other game catches my eye. Super Mario Maker for Nintendo 3DS. You see, I had wanted to play Mario Maker since it came out. I watched all the promotional material, I was itching to craft some courses, but there was just one problem. I didn't have a Wii U yet. So when this 3DS port was announced, I knew I had to get it. I was so excited, in fact, that I completely overlooked some of the questionable changes described. So on December 19th, 2016, I downloaded it, started playing, and it was alright. Okay, to say it was bad would be doing it a disservice. It's Mario Maker, of course it's fun. But I think this port is a perfect example of a mixed bag, probably because it was likely rushed out the door. Remember, this was in the holiday of 2016. The Wii U was more dead than ever. The Switch was out in only a couple months, but Nintendo still needed a holiday game. Something other than Pokemon. So why not take this massively successful Wii U game and squeeze it onto the 3DS? You can tell they really took the time to properly port this game because it still has a 16:9 aspect ratio. That being said, it is kinda impressive just how much they were able to mimic the original version. Sure, entering the palette isn't as seamless, but we've got almost all the course elements, the 100 Mario challenge, and even the crazy sound effects. Before I get carried away though, let's take one section of this game at a time. So we'll start with the first main edition. There are 10 lessons included to teach you how to create levels. They're even taught by two characters original to the Mario Maker franchise, Yamamura and, get this, Mary O. Brilliant name right there. These characters actually came from the Wii U version, but I don't think anyone knew about them beforehand. They were basically exclusive to a couple event courses and the manual. Here though, they get some nice dialogue that gives them proper personalities. Yamamura is supposedly a master course builder, though I will say I don't remember a single one of the courses he made, who also likes edamame and scamming Mary O, his apprentice. Mary's personality is, she thinks Goombas are cute, I guess. Okay, I amend that statement. Either way, the dialogue between them got an audible chuckle out of me a couple of times. However, the lessons themselves are incredibly basic. Usually just telling you how to adjust a timer or giving you an overview of an enemy or something. That being said, I do like how there's one portion where you learn what each thing does, then a second portion where you see a sample course in action before they break it down. Overall, it's a cool idea. But here's the thing. I feel like they're made to cater to a very specific person, probably a kid who needs help getting started, but there's so much reading involved that I don't think a kid would have the patience to get through this. I know I wouldn't if I was under the age of 12 or maybe even 14. by which point I probably would have known most of what these lessons have to offer. I think it was executed much better in Mario Maker 2, where they cover some more advanced concepts in addition to the essentials. So next up we have the actual palette, and it's translated pretty well. It has the same touch controls as the Wii U, and it's pretty seamless between Create and Play mode. Like I mentioned earlier, it's not as seamless, but it's on the 3DS, so I'll give it slack. It's still a better control scheme than in Mario Maker 2 though, which is kinda sad. The biggest complaint I have is that it's a 4x3 screen versus 16x9, so the workspace is a little cramped. But there is one thing missing that I just don't get. Costumes. The 3DS can read amiibos, it's obviously a straight port of the Wii U game, so why can't you use costumes? I can only assume it was some technical problem that they didn't have time to resolve or something, but nonetheless, it's a pretty big omission. Anyway, those are the only major changes on the creation stuff, so onto the play side of things. And here's where the real meat of the game is. The 10 Mario Challenge has been upgraded to a full-on campaign with 18 worlds. And this is actually how you unlock the course parts this time. Instead of just placing a bunch of blocks to exploit the system Nintendo had, or waiting several days, here you unlock a set after each world. And what's more, each course has 2 objectives to complete, which reward you with either a Goomba or a Bowser medal. Sure, there are mundane ones, like reach the goal after opening a key door, but then you get objectives like don't stop moving right for the whole course, and get a score of 80,000 or better. Like, come on, when was the last time anybody cared about their score in a Mario game? It's a legitimately cool idea that sees some interesting uses. In fact, some of these are much more interesting than the objectives that we got in 2's palette. So, are there any downsides to this mode? Well, yes, there are. First, the levels can be pretty cool, but you also get dull, uninspired stuff too. Like remakes of World 1-1 from Mario Bros. 1 and 2. Sure haven't seen those before. And regardless, the levels suffer from the new Super Mario Bros. Problem, where they're fun in the moment, but aren't really memorable. I don't expect every single level to be unique, but I could count on my hand the number of levels I distinctly remember. And after each world, you'll unlock course parts that sometimes barely appeared in the previous world. I actually think some of them are kinda lame too. Like, we have the trampoline unlocked from the start. Do we really need to wait till World 9 to unlock the sideways trampoline? And about those challenges. They do this thing where you can see the Goomba challenge, but have to complete it to see the Bowser one. But why? It's not like the Bowser challenge is usually harder, and you can complete it anyway, even without being able to see it. So what's really going on is some artificial extension to the game time by making you play the levels twice, if not more, depending on how hard the challenges are. And in the end, what do the medals do anyway? Well, if you get 40, you unlock a 19th world, thus bringing the course count up to 100. That's it. In other words, it's just busy work for completionists. And although I've put stupid amounts of time into 100%ing games before, Mario Maker 3DS was not one of them. Honestly, as long as you get those 40 medals, I find the campaign more enjoyable if you just passively try to get them as you breeze through the levels. Because here's my last big issue. Without the objectives, the levels are really easy. Again, I know it's a Mario game on a 3DS, but by World 10, I was hoping for a steeper difficulty curve. Honestly, I remember getting bored when first playing this, and while it wasn't as bad as I remembered, I can definitely see why, especially if you just want to unlock some course parts. Since the devs were limited to the Mario Maker tools, robust as they are, they still couldn't do anything fancy like in the NSMB series, and by the end, there is definitely some fatigue that sets in. Especially because World 19, while it has some genuinely fun levels, also has a couple which feel very much like padding. Like, come on guys, what is this? So the fact you're basically required to play through it all can feel pretty draining. I mean, you have to sit through almost a dozen worlds before you unlock the P-switch. and Bowser Jr. is one of the very last things you get. But anyway, on to Course World. Probably the most nerfed part of the entire game. You basically have two options. Either search recommended courses, which remember exclude any courses with costumes, or the 100 Mario Challenge. At least they kept this mode in. It was one of my favorite parts of the original, and Super Expert is even unlocked from the start. As for the other mode though, I was never really one to just aimlessly browse recommended courses, even in the Wii U version. You kind of forget after Mario Maker 2, but the first search engine wasn't really that advanced. Besides filtering regions, you can only search by clear rate, which isn't very specific. And besides, I like being surprised anyway. Either that, or I like finding courses online and just looking up the level codes. Except, you can't search by level codes here. Yeah, sure, in the spirit of spontaneity. This is probably one of the most baffling exclusions, although not the most. That honor goes to not being able to upload courses at all. Yeah, not sure why, but if you make a course, it's not going far. Wasn't the whole point of having Course World to exchange ideas? Well, Nintendo's response was that where the Wii U's focus was fostering a community, this port had the goal of playing and creating levels anytime, anywhere. Okay, so riddle me this. What part of uploading courses is so counterproductive to portable Mario Maker that you had to leave it out? That it required an internet connection? Well, so does the rest of Course World. It makes no sense at all, and honestly, it really drains your motivation to know that nobody else will play your creations. But don't worry guys, even if you can't upload to the internet, you can still Street Pass. Yeah, because who isn't using their 3DS to Street Pass going into 2017? Not to mention that not only would you have to find someone with a 3DS, but also have their Mario Maker game configured to exchange courses. I at least know for a fact that I never got a single Street Pass with this game. But there is one more method. You can exchange courses in CourseSpot, and if you edit a course you received, a little collaboration marker appears next to it. How nice. As you can see, I used this feature exactly once, after I mistakenly thought that two people could edit a course at the same time. So, in conclusion, there is basically no social aspect to Mario Maker 3DS. I mean, sure, maybe if a whole bunch of people created a virtual chain over time, your course could get somewhere, but who am I kidding? And are we just gonna ignore the fact that Wii U owners couldn't play 3DS courses at all? So, what does that leave us with? Well, we have 10 basic builder lessons, 100 okay levels, some even being very good, and a butchered Course World with almost all the worthwhile features removed. This port is so confusing to me. Don't get me wrong, I know why it exists, but I just don't get why so many features are absent with some thrown-in courses included as a band-aid. Yeah, it's obviously rushed, but I don't think I've ever seen a Nintendo port with such little care put into it. Again, may I remind you that they didn't even change the aspect ratio to fit the 3DS screen. Hey, this is Editor Kardino. While I was putting this video together, I found out that some menus actually do have the correct dimensions, while others have this weird in-between picture. So if the footage has been bothering you, that's partially why. You know when one of Nintendo's key points was that it would arrive just in time for the holidays, that's kind of a red flag. But still, I'd say this game is at least worth $20 for the campaign, which is what they actually changed the price to in 2019. And hey, I and about 2 million other people did find some value in it at least. And that number actually isn't too bad, over half of what the original did. I can't really say it's a bad product, but there's just something about this port that's amusing to remember, and I hope after this video, you can see why. Anyway, until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.